Hey guys, how's everybody doing? This is a quick video looking at D2 Racing Sport coilover dampers for Golf Mark 5, Golf Mark 6, Audi A3 Mark 2, Seat Leon Mark 2, and Octavia Mark 2. They all use the same suspension. So obviously this is the front strut, so I'll just take it from the top to the bottom. So first of all, you have a camber adjustable top mount with two camber settings in it. You can see that it's with Allen bolts here. Some of the kits have a sliding top mount here, but you can see, as I said, these are two fixed settings for the camber. At the top you've also got your hole for the adjuster. Let me just see if I have the adjuster here. Bear with me 2 seconds. The adjusters are like so, and you put them, they just slide into the top like this, and this is where you have the adjustment of the dampers. So you've got soft and hard, as it says there. Good range of adjustment on these. They go from quite soft for a coilover up to extremely hard. Also you got the instruction book in there if you need the installation instructions, but coilovers are pretty straightforward. You take off the complete original unit, just bolt these in. So obviously it bolts into the 3 original holes on the car. They supply the, as you can see, the bolts. This has a bearing inside it which allows the top mount to move independently of the shock absorber itself. This is very important for a long life and good performance in the shock absorber. Some cheaper kits, they might mount the spring directly to the top mount, which is a complete no-no. This is the best way, and they do it with a spherical bearing as well, which gives you the smoothest motion. You can see that there's the top mount for the spring. You've got obviously got your spring here. It comes with the dust cover. It's very important to keep these in tip-top condition. Probably the main cause of failures in any type of a shock absorber damper is when these dust covers get worn and then the rod gets scratched. This is why you get your leaking out of the top of the damper, because the rod is scratched and it's damaging the seals. So like I said, very important to keep this in tip-top condition, these seals. You've got 2 adjusters here for the bottom spring seat. For road use, I would definitely have these as loose as possible, so just so the spring can't move up and down, and then when you've got it when it stopped moving up and down, tighten them up, and that's it. You don't need to run any preload on a spring. It can get very uncomfortable if you use it on the road, running a preload on the spring, i.e. compressing the spring before you put it on the car. Like I said, for the road with the bumps, imperfections, you just have it so there's no preload in the spring. In my experience, is the best bet. For the track, if you can just use the car on the track, okay, put some preload in it, whatever you need to do. And then we come on to the mount, and if you like, this is one of the main selling features of the D2 suspension, is this system here. The bottom mount is completely independent from the damper itself. So this means that you can move this up and down along. You can see the threads for it here. So if you can see from the bottom here, you've got the damper in the bottom. You can adjust the ride height independent of the damper stroke. Now on other brands of shock absorber of coilover where they don't have an independent bottom mount, when you're adjusting the ride height, you are adjusting the damper travel. So as you go lower, you're reducing the travel on the suspension because you're taking away the travel from here to adjust the ride height. D2 get around this by having a modular design. So like I said, you adjust the ride height here completely independent of damper travel. So no matter where you set it, on maximum low, you still get maximum damper travel. This is a one of the key features of the D2 system. The downside of it is the kit is a little bit heavier than kits, for example H&R and IBAC, which have the amortisseur here, the damper is all combined in one piece with the bottom mount. They're a bit lighter, but they don't have anywhere near the amount of height adjustment that the D2 has. And then this is basically the kit, guys. You got your bottom, independent bottom mount, your dampers here, your spring seats, your top mounts, top mount bearings, top mount, spring top mount, and your camber adjustment. This is basically the kit. So of all the dampers that we've had, all the coilovers that we've sold over the years, maybe D2 doesn't have the best reputation, but there's a lot of snobbery, I think, in the suspension world. But in my experience, from the Ibach, H&R, Spax, Coney, the damping adjustment on D2 is as good as anything, i.e. the range of adjustment from soft to hard is as good as anything, or it's up there with the best, if not the best. The height adjustment is the best. The amount of height adjustment is far better than the other brands I've just mentioned. What else? The camber adjustment top mounts, the more expensive kits usually do not have adjustable top mounts. You use the OE top mounts. So, you know, that's another plus for D2 with the adjustable top mounts. The quick downside of this system here is that there is no rubber in the top mount, so you can give a harsh edge to the ride of the car. If you, it's like a more, excuse me. It's nice to have some bushes in the top mount, like I said, just to take that harsh edge off the ride. But you know, for performance and for the adjustability, it's nice to have also the bearing in there. And then for life, service life, I would say that the D2 is as good as anything out there. They are not an unreliable kit, or they're not something that lasts less long than the more expensive brands by any stretch of the imagination. They're as good as anything. So for all those reasons, like I said, there's a lot of snobbery because these kits are made in Taiwan, but in our experience and the stuff made in Europe and Germany, Holland, and Britain, England, they stand for comparison. Japan also, you know, with Yutanes, the D2 stands in very good comparison to any of those kits. I don't believe that they're any worse than anything else that's out there. If you're going to go with racing suspension, then, you know, D2 have got kits for all budgets. So this is the entry level kit. This is called the street kit, and then it goes up to full racing suspension with remote reservoirs, high independent bump and rebound adjustments, and independent high and low speed bump adjustment. So, you know, those kits are going to be, if I remember rightly, around €4,000 retail. And these are €950 approximately. It depends on the exchange rate, but let's say between €900 and €950 for this set. But for the price, it's very hard to argue with them. Just for just to recap, the height adjustment is fantastic. The adjustment for hardness and softness is good. And also the kit is modular, so if for some reason anything gets damaged here, you don't have to buy a complete unit, which you would do if you damage the bottom mount on something like a H&R or a Coney a coilover. You can just replace the bits that are damaged. All this is separate. The top mounts, bolts, adjusters, shock absorber, springs, spring seats, bottom mount, they're all independent, so you just need to replace the stuff that you've damaged if for some reason you've damaged something. So that's the kit, guys. This is the front. There's not a lot to say on the rears. The rears don't have camber adjustment top mounts. The suspension doesn't allow camber adjustment, and the springs and the spring seats are independent of each other. You do get height adjustment and damping adjustment on the rear, but this is really the money shot, you know, the front dampers. You get the same amount of adjustment on the rear with regards to damping, height, softness, hardness, and like I said, lower and high on the right height. So that's the kit, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, vote on the video, and I'll see you again next time.